Hi, Amy Kunkel, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here. I'm over at crazybeautiful.com, and I'm going to show you today how to make this panel. It has that bird from A Happy Thing, which is a Sale-a-bration set. Here is that set right there. And we're going to do some masking and coloring today. So I'm going to start out first by making a mask on just a little post-it note, and you can use printer paper also. I like the post-it notes because they have a little bit of adhesive, but this one had kind of worn off, so a good little trick is you can just take your two-way glue pen and add some adhesive on there and let it dry, and then that will make for a great mask. So first, you're going to use your Memento ink since we are stamping and coloring with our Blendabilities, which are the alcohol-based markers. We're going to stamp right here on the middle of this front panel, and I do end up cutting it down, but for right now we are just going to stamp on it and color it and then see where we end up. Okay, before I go through too much work of this, I'm going to use my mask, place it over the bird. So when you're making a mask, you really just stamp it and cut out the edges there. I'm going to use my hardwood background stamp with the Memento ink also. And that's where I'm going to place, I'm going to use it and I'm going to overlap a little bit of the beak here and the tree coming out. So you're just going to place it down like that. So you have just like the edge of. Now I'm going to remove my mask for a minute while I color my bird, just so that I make sure I have him how I want him. I usually take all my Blendabilities covers off before I start, so I'm going to take a minute to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start with his beak, and I'm doing this a little bit of red and orange. Whoops. I'm going to start with a sponge and my early espresso ink pad. And I'm going to just grab some Post-it notes. And again, this just is a thin piece of paper that will help to keep my ink where I want it. I'm going to use this mask so that I protect the colored bird that I've already got going. And then I'm going to mask off. I'm going to start with the brown, so I'm going to mask off the remainder of the picture. There we go. So you're just going to get some ink onto your sponge and start adding it just like that. You want to be careful when you're doing it to make sure your mask doesn't come up. Okay, when you get that to the place where you're happy with it, you're going to peel off this mask, make sure you leave the bird masked, and switch it over to the other side. Okay, so now we're going to cover the tree and we're going to color the sky. Okay, here we go. And in my other sample, I actually colored it blue, but my original idea was to make it green. I'm going to add one more Post-it note here to hold this down. I actually wanted it to be green behind it so it looked like you were, you know, my little bird was in the tree. Okay, I just re-inked my pad because it was not quite as dark as I wanted, so now I'm really going to make sure that I start off the edge and work my way up because I have a lot of ink on here and it's going to really color. Okay, so just kind of keep blending it in until you're happy with it. And if you have a white line that's sort of created, you can always slide your mask over a tiny bit and fill in that white line with a little bit more of the color, the ink. There you go. You want to kind of take it off and check and see that you're happy with it. And I'm going to just add a little bit more ink a little bit closer around there. Sorry, my whole table is shaking. Okay, there we go. Let's see. I'm gonna then maybe touch up a little bit more around my bird and blend my tree branch in right there. Okay, make sure to put your caps back on all your Blendabilities markers. And there you go. I'm going to cut this down and add it to my card. If you would like to see more pictures of my finished card, you can hop over to my blog to see this one. I just use different colors. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.